Stretching out across 5,000 kilometers, the Indonesian archipelago includes close to 17,000 islands. Various cultures and peoples contribute to the melting pot that has come to be known as Indonesia, but none more so than those of the island of Java. The name alone evokes images of ancient Mataram kingdoms, dark and mysterious teak forests, and the exotic spices that drew traders to sail from across the world in search for treasures from the east. Today, the island hasn't lost any of its mysterious magnetic pull. To date, 60% of Indonesia's total population has been drawn to Java and call it home. Its major city, Jakarta, is the seat of government and business, and for many visitors, define the Indonesian experience. But for those wanting to find a more direct link to Java's unique heritage and culture, a trip out of the sprawling metropolis and its busy streets and congested avenues might be just what you need.
Jakarta may be Indonesia's capital city in terms of finance and industry, but for the 120 million people who live on the island of Java, the island's true soul can be found here in the old capital of Yogyakarta. It's here amongst its ancient temples and palaces that visitors can sample authentic Javanese culture at its purest.
In this tiny city caught in the dizzying throes of rapid modernization, visitors can still catch glimpses of what life was like in Java hundreds of years ago. Despite the trappings of modernity, Yogyakarta, or simply Jogja as locals call it, has managed to hang on to and even take pride in the old ways and rituals of its colorful past. A visit to Jogja should always begin at the Kraton, the Sultan's walled palace in the center of the city. The original structure, built in 1775, gives visitors a peek into traditional Javanese palace architecture with its ornately carved columns and distinctive ceiling construction. A series of luxurious halls and grand courtyards wait to be explored as you walk through the palace grounds. Roaming through the palace is an interesting lesson in Jogja's history. The building's general structure remains true to its Javanese roots, but European-style touches, influenced from the Dutch occupation, can be seen in other architectural details that were added in the early 1920s. But the palace offers more treasures than just those behind a pane of glass. There are quiet corners to be found away from the noisy crowds where one can get a more genuine feel of what traditional palace life must have been like. Dignified retainers who still wear traditional Javanese dress, complete with a small kris tucked into their sash, sit and sip tea while keeping watch over the palace. If you take the time to sit back and soak in the atmosphere, you might get lucky and catch a performance of traditional Javanese dance at the main pavilion. These traditional dances are usually excerpts from the Ramayana or the Mahabharata and are accompanied by a classical gamelan orchestra and singers. The royal palace is essentially now a museum open to all, but it is still the residence of the current sultan, so there are actually many areas that are restricted to the general public. But for those interested in seeing more of how the royals lived, Jogja has more to offer. The Taman Sari, or water castle, was built between 1758 and 1765. Made up of a series of pools and secret rooms and pavilions, it was built to be the Sultan's pleasure palace. Legend has it that the Portuguese architect who built it was executed soon after it was completed to keep the locations of the Sultan's hidden pleasure rooms secret. Much of the water palace was damaged by war and earthquakes, and today, little of the actual structure is left. The ruins are both eerie and beautiful at the same time, and is well worth the time it takes to explore the complex. Walking through the subterranean tunnels and climbing to the top of the palace treats you to a bird's eye view of the old complex. The tight maze of streets and small houses was actually once a wide lake, but all that remains today is a sea of tiled roofs and satellite dishes. Still, with the current efforts to restore Taman Sari, it's not hard to imagine just how grand the pleasure palace once was. Walking distance from the broken walls of the water palace is Pasar Ngasem and its famous bird market. The people of Jogja are big bird fanciers and take great pride in keeping them as pets. Here, you'll find everything from roosters and pigeons to orioles and parakeets, and some fine examples of ornamental bird cages. But just as interesting as the birds themselves are what the birds eat. Vendors have all assortments of creepy and crawly bird food. Everything from maggots and crickets to centipedes and termites are sold to satisfy even the most picky of winged companions. If you still have your appetite after a day in the bird market, don't miss the chance to sample some authentic Indonesian cuisine and hospitality. Yogyakarta has some wonderful offerings in terms of dining and accommodations. Live like a king in boutique hotels or plan a family getaway. Jogja has something to offer every visitor. But don't plan on staying indoors for too long. There's so much of Jogja to explore. For a start, one shouldn't miss the great deals at the famous Malioboro Street Market. Rows and rows of shops and stalls offer everything from traditional wares to the more everyday items. If you don't find it on Malioboro Street, you're just not looking hard enough. The city has some wonderful galleries and artists who have fiercely clung on to traditional ways, as well as those who have taken traditional art methods and put them in the modern context. Contrasts like these can be seen when you visit two Jogja masters of batik and gamelan. Daud Wirjo Hadinagoro takes traditional Indonesian batik into the world of high fashion. Using time-honored techniques of batik, he produces designs that mix traditional patterns with modern themes. And these are sold in high-fashion houses all over Europe.
Very nice. Thank you.
Batik comes from the Javanese word meaning to dot. It is a traditional art across Indonesia, but many will argue that it has reached its highest form of artistic expression in Java, particularly in the area surrounding the royal courts in Yogyakarta. Intricate designs and subtle effects of color are created as wax is applied onto fabric to create patterns that resist the effects of dye on the cloth. It's painstaking work and can sometimes go on for months just to finish a single design. Daoud's works are far from traditional, but the process that he and his craftspeople use have remained unchanged from the heyday of Jogja's royal courts in centuries past. Across town in a dark forge, echoes from more of Java's past call out to visitors. Here, Master Sudomo Trimanto keeps the tradition of gamelan instrument making alive. Born out of the forge's creative fires and its rhythmic poundings, which is music in itself, the gamelan is Java's traditional orchestra. The gamelan consists of predominantly percussion instruments like drums, bronze gongs, and xylophones, and is the usual accompaniment to dances and celebrations in Java. Master Trimanto will welcome guests into the heart of his forge, where he and his apprentices share the experience of making these instruments and even invites visitors to an impromptu jam session afterwards to really get the feel of gamelan. It's through these interactive visits that Master Trimanto keeps gamelan alive, ensuring that his ancient art continues to live on for future generations. Indeed, embracing the past and sharing it with today's generations is something that Jogja does so well, as evidenced by its most popular attraction, the centuries-old Borobudur Temple. Built somewhere between 750 and 850 AD, the temple is the most impressive Buddhist monument in Southeast Asia. Made up of about 2 million stones, Borobudur's 1,460 narrative panels, 1,212 decorative panels, and 504 Buddhas are a testament to the skill of the artisans who built the massive structure some 1,200 years ago. The temple is a massive Buddhist stupa of 9 levels with 4 stairways leading up through elaborate gateways on each level.
Only 120 more to go. Let's go.
Its multi-plane design is said to represent the different levels that Buddhists must pass through before reaching enlightenment. Living, dying, and being reborn until they finally reach nirvana, represented by the topmost level on the temple. Once visitors get past marveling at the sheer scale of the temple, it's worth taking a closer look at the fine detail on the relief panels and the incredible artistry that went into carving the serene expression on the Buddhas. Especially those on the upper levels where one shouldn't miss the opportunity to make a wish for good luck.
Buddhists believe that if you reach inside the stupa and hold the Buddha and make a wish, your wish comes true. So you reach in with your right hand, make a wish, and it's supposed to come true. Comes true.
A short drive from Borobudur is another jewel of Jogja, Prambanan Temple. Built some 50 years after Borobudur, in the middle of the 9th century, it lay in ruins for centuries till its reconstruction in 1937. If Borobudur is the height of Buddhist expression, Prambanan is its Hindu counterpart. Its finely detailed panels and statues are the best examples of Hindu art that can be seen in Yogyakarta. The decorative panels around the temple show scenes from the Ramayana, while the main temples and the smaller sub-temples have the characteristic Prambanan motif of lions and half-bird, half-human creatures, heavenly beings that act as guardians to the temple. The temple is a popular place to visit, even for the locals, so it can get a bit crowded. But finding a quiet spot, though, doesn't take more than walking into any of the temple's inner sanctums, where a thick silence thousands of years old remained the only companion of the Hindu gods that have stood watch over the temples through the ages and today's changing times. Yogyakarta may indeed be the living, breathing soul of Java, but it's a soul filled with contrasts. Every day, the modern world moves further and further across the old city. The past, however, has found a way to continue to live with the present. It's often an awkward coexistence, but somehow it works. A sea of television antennas and satellite dishes stand where once a serene lakeside palace stood, while rickshaws and pedicabs share the street with the latest Japanese imports. And all the while, the gamelan beat goes on and on.
Amidst the hustle and bustle of modern city life, the ancient ways of Java continue as they have for centuries. It's a delicate balance of old and new, and combining the best of the past and the present is exactly how Yogyakarta weaves its magic spell on anyone who comes to visit.